Hey guys, we're back and I wanted to do just another quick video. Some people are still asking how to use Desmos, so I wanted to do a full-on example of one problem to explain to you how to do it. Okay, so when you get into Desmos, all of these lines right here are going to be blank. I went in and typed in the words just with my keyboard so that I know what I'm looking for so you can see me answer it on the screen. Okay, all right, so first thing you're going to do is in the first line, you are going to type your equation. I'm doing one that is not in the book, so don't stress, but I'm just typing on my keyboard. Y equals, we're going to do negative 1 divided by 2 so that it makes a fraction. I'm going to use my arrow to the right, x, and then I'm going to use my raise to that. That is shift 6 so that it makes the little caret up. That is how I make an exponent. When I move my arrow to the right, I can keep typing. Minus 3x on my keyboard, minus 5. Okay, if you want to use the keyboard down here, you can totally use those. This button right here, a squared, is how you make an exponent. You just have your x and y like normal. Okay, I'm not going to use this for right now. We're going to go ahead and try to solve this problem. Oops, I'm going to do plus 5. Sorry. Okay. Once you get it all typed in, let's go through and identify the pieces. So again, vertex is where it changes direction. It's kind of like the point of the parabola. So if I look, this right here is going to be my vertex. It is always going to have a gray dot on it. If you just move your mouse over that gray dot, it will tell you what it is. Okay? So if I look on this problem, I'm looking at negative 3, comma 9.5. I'm going to type that over here. Negative 3, comma 9.5. That's what you would write on your paper, okay? Min or max. Minimum means that point's on the bottom of a parabola. Maximum means it's on the top. So in this case, we have a maximum. That would be my answer. I could circle it if that makes it easier, okay? Axis of symmetry is always going to be an x equals. So I would say x equals. And then I would look at what would my value be. I have to take the x that comes out of the vertex. So my x would be this guy, negative 3. My x, it's supposed to say x-intercept. It won't let me type that on here. So we're going to say my x-intercept. Well, if I look where it crosses the x-axis, I really need to look anywhere it crosses this x line, okay? If I look real close and just kind of hover over this, I can click on that point where it crosses and it will make a gray dot. Once I have the gray dot, I can just put my mouse or my little hand on top of it and it will tell me that point. So it looks like mine is negative 7.359. Now, we're only allowed to have 2 decimal places. So my answer is going to be negative 7.36 because I'm rounding it up, comma 0. If I come over here and click on this one, there it is, 1.359, but we only want to do 2 decimals, so 1.36, comma 0. Remember that we're writing them with points and parentheses. You do not get to just list the numbers, okay? Y-axis. If I come up here and I click on where my parabola crosses this Y line, somewhere right around here, it looks like 5, and when I put my cursor on it, it is, so 0, comma 5. Okay? Domain is really easy. If you want to just put R, that's fine. If you want to write out all real numbers, that's fine too. I would probably just use the fancy R. And for my last one, for range, you either want y is less than or y is greater than. So you either want this symbol or you want this symbol, okay? Either way, you have to put a number with it, okay? So on this problem, I'm going to compare it to my vertex. So if my vertex is way up here and all of my red parabola is underneath it, then that means I want to be less. I want to be less than the vertex. So if I say, well, what is the y number in the vertex? That's this guy up here, 9.5. So I would say y is less than or equal to 9.5, okay? All right, the last major question that I'm having people ask me is, okay, so that's great, I have all my answers, but how do I actually draw the graph? How do I get the table? Okay, you don't need a table. You only have to have the table memorized for the parent function, and at this point, you should have that memorized. For the graph, though, let me show you an easier way. See right now how it's counting by 5s going up and down and left and right? If I come over here to this wrench right here, click on the wrench, and I'm going to do 3 changes. First change is I'm going to take off all those little baby boxes, all the minor grid lines. Second thing I'm going to do is tell my x-axis what to step by or what to count by. I want it to count by ones. I also want my y-axis to count by ones. So if I do that, and let's say on your paper you can only really see from -10 to 10, and then same thing on the y-axis, you can only really see from -10 to +10. Okay, so basically 10 by 10 is what you can see. If you even want to do 9 by 9, that's fine. That helps you see where the points are, okay? So if I click off of this, now I can look for which points I can see. Okay, so it looks like it crosses right here, -4, 9. Crosses right here, -2, 9. That is not a point, not a point, not a point, not a point. This one works, okay, so 0, 5, which means there's probably one over here. There's one, -6, 5, okay? Not a point, not a point, not a point. None of these work, but right here does. If I click on it, it will tell me if that's it. -8, -3, cool. So that means there's probably one over here, right? That dot you would not put on your paper because it's not a whole number. But if I keep moving, right here is 2, -3, that one's a point, okay? If I keep moving down, are any of these whole numbers? Nope. Okay, so you have no other points on your graph. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You should have 7 dots on this graph, okay? If you have less, that's okay. You're only putting the dots onto the graph that make a whole number, okay? All right, this video is about 6.5 minutes long. If you have questions, please join WebEx to ask more.